Well, I don't know if I've said this before, but this is a transfer special that I am very much looking forward to. The only issue is we don't have a ton of money to spend. Before we get into all of the transfer news, we've got a end-of-season review that we want to go over. Obviously, this is going to kind of be a weird one because we wasn't here the full season, so let's take a look at the new arrival. Well, the only guys that we can really judge here are the ones that we brought in. Thomas Berner, we get a B+ from him. He played in a couple appearances for 6.81. Brought him on loan from Barcelona. I like this guy. I thought he was a decent player for us as a backup right back. Maybe we decide to bring him back if we can't find anybody else. And the only other one is Aiden Osborne. He kind of disappointed me a little bit. I had high expectations for this guy. We brought him in on loan. The board only liked this as like a C, 6.72 average rating for him. A little bit of disappointment from this kid. Revenue. Sponsorship goes up slightly. Broadcast goes down a significant portion. Corporate and hospitality go up a little bit. Competition prize money goes up some. And same with match day, commercial, and retail. Top selling kits was Duro, Diaz, Vlasic, and Svanberg, and John Baptiste. Club awards goes, fans player of the season was Monchu. Young player of the season was John Baptiste. Goal of the season goes Svanberg. Top goal scorer was Duro. Most assists was Rosas. Most player of the matches goes to Diego. And highest average rating Monchu, and most passes completed per 90 minutes goes to him. Diaz gets the most players by a player in a match with 3. Kind of surprising with that. Anybody win any competition? Well, the club vision and expectation meeting, it doesn't really change. They don't want us to sign older players. They want us to qualify for the Champions League and reach the group stage of the Champions League as well. Well, I feel like there is a lot of stuff we need to do this offseason, but unfortunately, we just don't have a ton of money. Players that I kind of want to move on from, Matson, I was not impressed with him. Just wasn't impressed with him. I think he's a great player. It's just we couldn't get the best out of him, so I wouldn't mind making a change at left back. I feel pretty comfortable with our center backs. We may bring in one option there. In midfield, we need to bring in a defensive guy. We need a guy that's really good on the defensive side of the ball because we just don't really have that. I think Diallo kind of separated himself a little bit and can earn some playing time next season. Vlasic is another guy that I might want to move on from. I'm not 100% certain. He wasn't that great for us either. I think he could have been a little bit better, but with the amount of money we have to spend, he may end up staying at the club. One other thing, there was a striker. I want to bring in a couple strikers, hopefully. There may be a lot of loans coming this offseason. It's just because we don't have a lot of money to spend. If you missed that in the last episode, we have 13 mil to spend in transfer budget and a payroll that's massive, so we can kind of do a little bit of finagling, but I kind of like to leave that alone, really. And we need to work on these reserve teams as well. There's just not a lot of talent there. I feel like we've got a job to do this transfer special. So I wanted to highlight a couple of players that I'm looking at, and obviously we're looking at guys that are not very expensive. The first guy that I'm looking at is Jafar Musa. He's currently under bid. That just literally happened in the past day. Who's wanting him? There's quite a few clubs after him right now. He's a deep line playmaker that I do kind of like as a central mid option for us. I'm not done scouting him, which does suck, but he's very cheap, compensation of $53K, so I am debating putting a bid out there for him. I was just hoping to get a little bit more information in front of him before other people started coming after him. That being said, there is a lot of big clubs that are interested in this young man, so Jafar Musa, I might be trying to place a bid on him and picking him up. The next one is this guy right here, Arena, I'm guessing. He's another central mid player. I like him. He's a free. You know, we don't have a lot of money to spend. That's why we're going after these kind of guys. Eric is the next guy up. He's a striking option that's fairly cheap. I know he doesn't have the greatest potential, but we don't have a lot of money to spend. That is the key to this transfer. I do not have a lot of money to spend, and I have a lot of holes in this side, so we're looking at some guys that are kind of cheap right now that could be depth pieces for us. Wow, Gladbach is about to make a massive profit from one of my favorite players of this save, Mario Jorge. They made a bid that could be a potential $120 million bid. That is massive. I'm looking at Valentino Romeo as bringing in for a striking option. He's fairly cheap, 5.75 to bring him in. His flair plus his finishing, I think, would amount to him scoring goals at this level for us. He's quick. I think he would probably be our advanced forward going forward. And Doro would move over as a pressing forward. And then I've got another guy that I'm debating as our other pressing forward. But good speed on this guy. I really like him, actually. And I'm really considering debating putting a bid out for him. As you can see, he killed it last season at Boca. Put out a 7.06, scored 21 goals, 2 player of the matches, 4 assists. I think he is exactly what we want to lead that line. Well, I've been thrifty so far, and I made a mistake on one of these guys. I signed 6 players. Carujo is the one that was the mistake. The scouts, I got a little bit antsy, and the scouts kind of proved me a little bit wrong. He's a 2-star player, 2.5-star potential. Going to sit on the B team, which doesn't hurt because our B team is absolute trash, and we need players there. So he's going to go to that squad. We'll probably never see this guy. That being said, I don't think he's that terrible. I don't think he's good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's that terrible. The next guy up is Amankwa. He's going to be our backup right back behind Rosas. He's a 2.5-star player, 4-star potential. Wonder kid that looks pretty solid that I signed very cheap. I can't remember exactly. $5 million. He's already valued at, what was that? At 26 mil. So I think this guy can be somebody that develops into a solid player for us and maybe eventually take over that right back for us. Hermanson is the next guy up. He's a center back for us. That's at 1.5-star player, 4-star potential. Going to sit on the reserve side. 17-year-old youngster. We signed him for free. So not bad business there. Seamau is a guy that I am very much excited about. I kind of hinted at this guy earlier. He's going to be a striking option for us. He's going to be a pressing forward. So I think next season it's going to be Doro and him as our 2 starting pressing forwards. This guy is in good form as well. His speed, I mean, he's a good player. He's a really good player. His finishing and first touch is a little bit low, but that's fine. I'm more about his physical attributes. But that being said, he has killed it in Brazil for the last 3 seasons, putting out an average rating of above 7s. I'm really surprised nobody has found this guy yet, and I am glad that we are the ones that did because his value skyrockets up to 52 mil, and we spent 11.5 mil on him. So good bit of business there. Arinho is a central mid player that I signed just because we need depth in this position, and I think he can do a decent job for us. He's a 2.5-star player, 3-star potential, Spanish-born player that's valued at 8.6 mil. He's a central mid attacking player, but he can tackle at a decent rate, so we could arguably play him as a more defensive role. I think he's going to be kind of a backup central mid on attack for us, though. We did sign him from Barcelona for a free, so pretty good business there, I think. We mentioned this guy before, Musa here. It's a little bit disappointing. He's a 2-star player, 4.5-star potential, but I think he's a solid player. There was tons of big teams after him, and I went ahead and jumped on the signing before our scouting was finished with him. I think he's going to be a solid addition to the team. He'll probably be a backup defensive mid this season, and we'll actually be on the first team. It'll be between him and, what's that, Diallo. It'll be between him and Diallo, who's behind Monchu. I think both of them's going to get a lot of playing time, but I think this guy's going to develop. We spent only $54K on him, so that's not bad business right there. We're obviously having to be kind of cheap right now, which sucks because there is quite a few players out there that I want to sign, but I just can't afford to do it. That's the issue. Well, we ended up getting Valentino Romeo comes into the club, and I am 100% excited about this guy. I think the top 3 of him, Duro, and Seamau can absolutely cause trouble for our league. And yeah, hopefully he carries his good form into the season for us. We are trying to sell 2 players. Matson's probably going to go to Barcelona for 17 mil. I just haven't been impressed with this guy. Like, I know he's a good player, but he just hasn't shown it. He wants to leave the club, and I'm done with it. Arenas, we're probably selling him also just to free up a forward and limit spot. And that's the business that's been done right now. You know, somehow I didn't even think about TV rights. We're fine money-wise now. Well, I've signed us a new left back, and that is Gluger. He's definitely got some areas of his game that I wish was better, like his crossing. But as an overall left back, I really like this guy. Well, we've sold 2 players that actually played some last season. Not a large amount, but a little bit. Matson goes to Liverpool, and Arenas goes to Frankfurt for 5.25. Well, that is all we have time for today. But before we get out of here, I want to take a look at the season preview and see where we're projected to finish at. 4th, okay, we can take that. We can take that. We're slowly climbing, guys. We came here and it was 10th place. We got up to 3rd place last season. I think we can pull off 4th place. Well, I want to set the tactic for the next episode, and I think I'm good with the top 3. The midfield I'm fine with. I would be putting Queiroz in, but he's banged up. So we're without him for 3 weeks. I would play Diaz as well. He's looked really good in the friendlies. I've been playing those as well. But he's suspended for this match. So that just kind of depends. Who do we want to add to this bench? I got a lot of guys on here that I got to sort out and drop back to the reserve team. Who do I want on the bench? I'm kind of feeling Diallo. He's kind of my backup DM at this point. But I kind of like that lineup right there. I think that's going to be what we do for the next episode. Well, I've been meaning to kind of go over this for a little bit. Some of our past jobs. What has happened since we have left them? Our first job was Valmiria, and they've done pretty good for themselves. They've won the league the past 2 seasons, and yeah, that's fantastic. And it looks like there's a lot of guys that's in the starting lineup that we brought to the club. Let's actually take a look at that and see if there's any of them that we can recognize. So I remember Kudra. He was our goalkeeper, wasn't he? Was he the one that I actually liked? There was 2 goalkeepers, and one of them I didn't like. I think he was the one, yeah, because he was actually Latvian. The other guy was trained in another nation, so that's why we didn't use him as much. Andressen, he wasn't Latvian when we brought him in, but apparently he made that change. He made that change. He has been there forever. I mean, we brought him on pretty early on, didn't we? I mean, yeah, brought him in for 12.75 and has killed it every since. I'm surprised nobody's actually came after that guy. He was really solid. I do remember Dongma. Dongma was a good player as well. Dongma was a good one. We brought him in, and he's killed it for him as well. Vapney, I brought Vapney in. He was a central mid-attacking player that I actually did like a lot. We didn't bring in guy. I think he was already at the club, but apparently he's finally leaving. So he's going to Jelgava. He was there forever as well. That looks like all of them, though. That looks like all those guys. Yeah, they've done good since we left. Can we see how many guys that we actually remember that they sold? If they sold anybody for decent money, they did sell Aggie Mang for 93K. He kind of sucked, didn't he? Like, he was one of those guys that I liked, but man, we just never could get him going. The next one we went to was Ashdod, and they had some trouble after we left, unfortunately. I do remember, didn't they get like relegated when we was at Tel Aviv? They did win the Israeli Cup one time since we've left, so that's pretty nice. And they did, yeah, I think they did. I think that's the league below us right there. That was it. In 2027, they got promoted back up to the top flight. How many guys are still there that we remember? Was Fadidi one of our guys? I believe Fadidi was one of our guys. I don't remember, but I'm fairly certain Fadidi was the guy that I brought in. Michael Name is still there. I really like this guy. This guy was awesome. This was my dude. Oh, and my man, you're still there, hanging around, trained at Ashdod. You go to Maccabi Tel Aviv as well. No, this isn't Maccabi Tel Aviv. You're still at Ashdod. Okay, I understand. Are you actually playing? You are playing. You actually put out a pretty solid rating last season as well. Tel Aviv, obviously, they're the best team in Israel. So, have they won any more? They won last season, the year. Yeah, they've won a couple more trophies, haven't they, since we left? Anybody still on this side that we remember? Dan Glazer, wow, still playing. He's been there forever. Gabby, okay. Almog, okay. Wow, they've definitely got some players that was still there when we was there. I'm really surprised they was able to hang on to a lot of these guys as well. This was a very good side when we was there. Well, this one right here, this one sucks because this was the club I really, really thoroughly enjoyed. But unfortunately for us, you guys remember what happened. Yeah, y'all remember. Have they won a league title since they won it this? Yeah, they have. They have. Good. Congratulations to Rapid. How many guys are still here? How many of you guys are the guys that I remember? Nashberger, wow, surprised he's still there. We almost sold him when we was there. Pies is still there. I really like this guy. I'm surprised that they've hung on to him. I thought he might have went somewhere else. Nene is still there. I tried selling him as well. They've got a 17-year-old on their side as well that I'm going to scout. They have sold some of our players. Sharabi has went to Hamburger, it looks like. I don't think he's there anymore. Vanoli goes to Greece. Kuhar leaves for 8 mil to go to Anderlecht. I liked this guy. I thought he was a decent player. We just never could get him going. Kyrian Hope, he's been loaned out. I thought he might have got sold. He was a guy that I was excited about. Suma goes to Genk for 8 mil as well. Steve leaves for 3.8. Patrick goes to Dortmund for 9.25. So a couple of the guys that we did bring in, they ended up selling. Kyrian Hope does go back to America to play for New York Red Bulls as well. Well, it hasn't been that long since we have left Gladbach, and I don't expect a ton of things to really have changed. They did win the Bundesliga. Huh. Well, okay. Congrats to them. There is quite a few guys on this side that I have highlighted that are on the short list, so we're not going to go over those guys, but obviously, like, most of these guys are still here. So, looking at transfers, I know they have sold Jorge. Jorge did go to Man City for 120 mil. Wow. Pinhao goes to Barcelona for 43.5, so we're going to end up seeing him this upcoming year as well. Ronnie Mueller leaves. He goes to Bayern Munich for 32.5. Schmitz has left and goes to Mainz for 4.9 mil. I can't remember if we sold I feel like this was kind of the area that we was. Like, I know we didn't sell Tim and I know we didn't sell Ronnie, but I can't remember if we sold Takahashi. And finally, it's been forever since we've done this. It's been forever since we've done this. Let's take a look at some of these guys that we had on our teams at certain points. As we mentioned, Mario Jorge has gone to Man City to play, and that value is massive. Marlon is a guy that I would love to sign. I just can't afford him. I love this guy. I was so excited about him, and he killed it when we was there. Ashley Phillips is still at Gladbach. Acuna is at Frankfurt. This guy has bounced around in Germany for quite some time now, it seems like, since he left us at Rapid. Went to Dortmund, then Frankfurt. Okay, so he's only bounced around twice. Never mind, just only twice. That's not as much as I thought. Michael, we still know is at Real Madrid because we play him on quite a regular basis. Aziz is playing for Saint Etienne. He's kind of bounced around as well. We sold him, or did we? I don't think we sold him. I think he left after we left. And he's bounced around for a couple of times. He's played quite a bit. He's actually a decent player. Sharabi is now at Utrecht. I thought he had left Hamburg, and he did. He went there for 3.1 mil, and played quite a bit for them as well. So we've had a good player there. Dadon playing back in Israel for Beitar Jerusalem, and they got a little bit of a deal on him. Got him signed him for free, and he put out a solid 7.0 rating his first season for them. Mosgray is still at PSG. This guy is mad as hell about playing at PSG too. He wants to leave the club. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to yet. I don't think he's playing a ton is his issue. Yeah, he's not playing a ton. Like, they signed him from us for 30 mil and then just never used him. Like, I wish y'all would have left him alone then, because we definitely could have used him at Gladbach. I don't remember adding Ragon to the list, but apparently I did, and he's under bid. At Atlanta is looking at him. And finally, Owen, we've already looked at you, so we're not going to take a deep dive into you. But I am happy to see you playing for Ashdod. I mean, I didn't think you would ever make it, but you certainly did. You've proven me wrong. Well, I think that was a pretty good transfer window. Business is not done, though. I think there may be one more signing. If you enjoyed this one, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below, and as always, my dudes, thank you for watching.